up, guys? Sportscaster 48 here. Are we on? What's up, guys? Sportscaster 48 here. We are live for the first live stream of 2018. We are finally here. I'm sorry I haven't got one out in a long time, but we are live, finally here. But there's a lot of things to talk about. I mean, obviously, the NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, and baseball is finally here. We are actually I'm actually very happy about that. I love baseball. You guys all know that. But anyway, let's get into a couple scores. I guess we can get into scores right away. First of all, the Bucks tied the series with the Celtics. That series is now 2-2. I mean, for a team, I mean, I thought the Celtics would be dominating everybody, but once they lost, I mean, Kyrie, I don't know what happened. They lost him, and then that was it. There was no, I know that Kyrie was supposed to be like their thing, Gordon Hayward and Kyrie were going to dominate the whole playoffs, and they were going to go all the way to the finals and just win it all. But they never did, and they never will. I don't think they will. Honestly, I really don't. But Pittsburgh won it last night in NHL. The Penguins beat the Flyers to win the series, and they advanced to the next round. Obviously, that is a big deal. Pittsburgh Penguins are just dominating the NHL as they always do. I mean, they are every year. It's just a dominant year for them all the time. I just don't understand it. Nobody can stop them. They're always just dominant and in the playoffs every single year, just dominating the NHL. It's amazing. The Mets and Braves game was postponed yesterday, obviously because of inclement weather, which I don't know. I mean, how bad could it have been? It was rainy in Atlanta for a little bit, but I don't see why the game should have been canceled. I think they could have got it in. Honestly, the Mets don't have another game till tomorrow against the Cardinals, so I mean, I think they could have got it in because it didn't make any sense. Because first of all, the Mets have they don't have to travel to they could travel to St. Louis today, which they probably are already there, but I mean, they didn't have to they had to travel today, so they didn't have to travel yesterday to go to St. Louis. So it's not like the Mets Braves game should have been canceled. Now we have a doubleheader with the Braves in May, which is going to probably make our pitchers mess up. Our pitchers are probably going to blow out their arms, and it's just going to be bad. Our starters are going to be not well rested at all because the last year, I mean, when you have a doubleheader, you're not that great. Your pitchers don't do that well. They really don't. And I've had quite an experience with that. That is, I mean, there's been tons of doubleheaders where the pitchers are just tired, and I completely get it. The pitchers got to be tired. I completely understand that. Yankees beat the Blue Jays 5-1 yesterday. That was a very good game. Didi Gregorius, home run. Obviously, he was the one of the stars. But Gleyber Torres did make his debut yesterday. But anyway, it wasn't really Didi Gregorius that was really the star. It was more Adujar, Miguel Adujar. He was mainly the star yesterday. Obviously, he racked up hits yesterday. He was amazing, and I think they really know that. I think this guy's supposed to be their third baseman, which he should be. I mean, honestly, there was no reason. I mean, Brendan Drury is a very good player. I'm not in Brendan Drury. He's a very good player. But I don't think that. I think this guy was your third baseman. I just don't think that the Yankees should have got Brendan Drury when they were looking for a third baseman. They should have never got him. I don't really think that was a good idea to get him. It's more of the Yankees they need to have everything. That's mainly what it is. The Yankees think that they need everything and need to be amazing with all these players, and that's mainly the problem. I think the Yankees really, if they would have just stuck with this guy Adujar, he's a good player. He's a good hitter. He can hit the ball. He's good. Why stick with, I don't understand it. But some other team could have picked up Drury. But the Yankees don't care. I feel like the Yankees, they say they need everybody. I feel like the Yankees just need everyone. They need to have everybody on their team. They are 11-9, and the Blue Jays are 13-8 this season. So Blue Jays have a better record than the Yankees. Did you think that at the start of the season? Because I didn't. I thought Stanton would be dominant, but we're looking at the Yankees right now. Stanton is not having a great year. I just don't know. Maybe it's the pressure of New York. Maybe it's the pressure of so many fans being in the games and watching him. It could be him. It could just be the pressure. He was in Miami. Which I'm not saying Miami is a bit is a city like that. Like that's not like it's really populated or something. It is. I mean, obviously, a lot of people live there, but I'm not going to say that. But the fans aren't like New York fans, or the fans aren't like Philadelphia fans or Boston fans. Like these fans aren't like that, and that's like what Stanton didn't realize when he got traded to the Yankees. Which I mean, I think Jeter should have never traded him. I really don't. I think that Derek Jeter. Some people think it's a there's a theory that Jeter just well not really a theory but there's a Jeter that Jeter just traded Stanton to the Yankees just because he was on the Yankees. Which me personally, I don't think that's true because I think Jeter just knew that this Marlins team needed to rebuild, but I didn't think he should have. I think he should have thought before he traded Stanton to rebuild because I think that he could have traded tons of other players before he traded Stanton to rebuild or Marcell Ozuna. Like that. But that wasn't. I feel like Marcell Ozuna, that's okay. But Stanton, Yelich, I don't understand that. Like why trade away your entire team? To to do nothing. They haven't done anything. But surprisingly, I mean, they've been not that bad with their prospects. But I mean, they lost to Milwaukee yesterday, 4-2. They're 5-16, the Miami Marlins, and the Milwaukee Brewers are 14-9. Which I mean, the Brewers are off to a pretty good start as well. I mean, you would expect it. You know, pulling off that deal with Lorenzo Cain, getting Christian Yelich, you would expect it. They have all these guys, Keon Broxton, Yelich, they got Kane now. They got Domingo Santana. They got everybody they need, this team. And this team is going to be dominant. I will say that. If they have everybody playing that they need to play, they'll be a very good team. I really think that this team is going to be one of the key National League teams in the playoffs. I really do. Because of how many bats they have. It's just all these guys that hit for average. Like, there's amazing. Ryan Braun he's just a home run hitter, but I really don't think that, like, Kane, he hits for average. Like, all those guys, they all hit for average. I'm happy for the Brewers because I feel like the Brewers haven't been a very good team for a while. I feel like they need to be in that playoff mode again. And they need to just go to the playoffs. They need to go far and deep into the playoffs, and I think the Brewers have made it a good opportunity here. I mean, they have a good opportunity to go into the playoffs. The Cubs struggling. I mean that's the thing right there. Cubs not doing that great. And I mean, a few years ago, the Cubs were in the World Series. That's they won the World Series a couple of years ago, 2016. I mean, you can't believe it when you say that. It's a couple of years ago. It's 2018 now. I feel like I have. It's the years just go by so quick. I feel like these MLB seasons. I feel like I've been talking about MLB for years now. I mean, I've had this channel for years now. I feel like it's just amazing. That how fast years go by. But anyway, this is a big opportunity for the Boston Bruins tonight when they play the Toronto Maple Leafs. They can win tonight. The Bruins, they can win tonight, and they are very pumped for this game. And this is good for the Bruins. They are going to be. I mean, I hate the Bruins to begin with, but I mean, they're going to be pretty good. I mean, if they could beat Toronto tonight, they are in a pretty good spot. They're in the next round. I mean, and the Blue Jackets could be eliminated tonight as well against the Washington Capitals. Um, Speaking of those Caps, they're amazing. I feel like every year they were good, but this year I feel like it's pretty good for them. I feel like I feel like they have a good shot at winning. Not the whole thing. We're going pretty deep into the playoffs. Um. Anyway, the NFL draft was the mock draft, which I mean I don't really go into detail about that, but because I'm not really into that kind of draft thing, but you know a lot of these fantasy guys, you know they're into this draft stuff. You know I don't know really about drafts, but I know that some of these guys that were picked up were pretty good. I know that. Um, oh yeah, this is another thing to go into. The Mets have decided to move Matt Harvey to the bullpen, which is I think good. Considering his last outing in Atlanta, it just wasn't good. You know, his outing last time, he let up a couple hits, he let up doubles, home runs. You know, it just wasn't a good outing for the guy, and I feel like he needs to go to the bullpen. And I at the beginning of this season, I thought he was gonna have a good season, and we were just gonna end up trading him. But now I'm thinking we're not gonna really get much for him. We might even get just cash. You know, I don't really think if we even trade him, or we might just keep him until he's a free agent. You know, because he's a free agent this coming winter. So, I mean, it's just not. You know, I don't know about that guy, man. Matt Harvey just didn't really. It's just not really clicking for me, Matt Harvey. He just doesn't, and I feel like he's not a team player. He's not a team player at all. You know, I feel like he doesn't want to be in on the Mets. I feel like that's the thing. That's the problem with me with him. I don't really like that he doesn't really want to be on the Mets. You know, I feel like he's a Yankee. Like he's like I feel like he could be a Yankee. Like I feel like he should be a Yankee because I don't really feel like he should be on our team. You know, I'm not thrilled with him. Speaking of those Yankees, they play the Minnesota Twins tonight, 7:05 p.m. on ESPN. They are broadcasting that game tonight. Which ESPN, I'm actually pretty surprised. They have pretty good broadcasters here. Manifest Kursion, you know, they got pretty good guys there. You know, A Rod is in the booth as well, but they have a pretty good broadcast booth there. You know, I actually like the ESPN games this year. I always didn't like the ESPN games because I felt like they were just so boring. Not no offense ESPN, but I feel like the ESPN games were pretty boring. You know, I'd watch them and I feel like sometimes I'd want to fall asleep. You know, because I just don't understand like what kind of what kind of broadcast is it? You know, they're not doing that great of a broadcast. Now they do because they got Matt Vasgersian. Matt Vasgersian is like one of the best baseball announcers I've ever seen, I've ever heard. You know, and I look up to him. If you're watching this, Matt Excursion, I do look up to you. I really do because I feel like I want to be a broadcaster, and I look up for that guy all the time because he's a great baseball announcer, and I've always gone back to him. You know, I always look at his broadcast. I always watch when he's on TV. So I'll be tuning into that game tonight because Matt Excursion will be commentating tonight that game. Um, and I'm very surprised, but I thought the Spurs were going to do much better against the Warriors, but I mean, it hasn't been a great series, you know, for the Spurs. They've just been crushed. I mean, even though they won last night, I still don't think that the Spurs are going to win. They don't have a shot now. They're pretty much out of it, you know. And the Pacers are giving the Cavaliers a run for their money, man. I will tell you that. They are just not giving up those Pacers. They are giving them a run for their money. Even though the Cavaliers won last night, the Pacers are still giving them a run for their money. You know, it's not been that great for the Cavaliers against these Pacers, but they're pretty good. You know, I mean, I knew and getting into NHL, I knew I knew Nashville was gonna win. You know, I knew it. I knew the Avalanche didn't have a shot. You know, I don't understand it. You know, I feel like the Predators just crushed them. I feel like it wasn't really a shot. You know, I mean, it went to Game 6, but I mean, there wasn't really a shot for these guys. I really don't think so. I mean, I've seen Colorado in the playoffs. They don't really have a shot. They didn't, I knew they didn't have a shot at beating them. And we will see. I think. Well, it was Otani that was supposed to pitch, but Otani's not pitching today. I guess. I thought Otani was supposed to pitch today. I looked at the Angels and the Houston Astros pregame, but I thought Otani was supposed to pitch today, but I guess not. But anyway, baseball season is here, and we are happy. I'm happy. I mean, I'm happy to just have baseball back because I just love baseball. You know, it's my sport, and Cubs beat the Rockies 9-7 yesterday. Um, Mayhew went 0 for 5 though. That wasn't a great game for Mayhew, but Baez hit a double, and Baez hit a home run yesterday. Javier Baez. Sorry, I always get that name wrong. Javier Baez. No offense, guy. No offense, Baez. But I always get your name wrong. I'm sorry. Um, but he got a double and a home run yesterday. Big hitter for the Cubs, you know, yesterday, really big. And Quintana didn't have. I mean, he didn't have such a great game yesterday. 5.1 innings, 7 strikeouts. Didn't have such a great game yesterday. Um, I mean, 7 strikeouts is good, but he did put up 2 home runs, which wasn't a great game for Quintana. I mean, when the Cubs got Quintana, I think they realized that he wasn't going to be the same pitcher he was on the White Sox. I mean, it's like, you know, it's like if Degrom went to the Yankees. You know, like, I hate to say that, but if it's pretty much like that because, you know, it's pretty much the same thing. You know, he just switched sides. You know, it's hard. You know, when you switch teams, it's like betraying the other team. You know, like if you have a crosstown rival, like if you like, let's say the Giants and Dodgers, like that's not really a crosstown rival, but you know they're a division rival. You switch teams like that. That's pretty hard. You know, it's hard to do that for some people, and I think Quintana is having a little trouble with that because it's, you know, he switched. You know, he completely switched his team. He was on the White Sox for so many years, and he just completely switched his team. But for the Rockies stats yesterday, Nolan Arenado hit a home run, and Charlie Blackmon hit a home run. Nolan Arenado hasn't really gotten the home runs that great. He's only got 3 this season, which isn't that great for him. You know, he's usually racking them up. And what's pretty sad is Charlie Blackmon has more home runs than him. You know, that's not really common to see that. But Nolan Arenado, I mean, I think he's just having a rough season. I mean, he had that fight with the Padres. You know, I mean, it's just been a hard season with him. You know, and I understand it. You know, it's a hard season. Sorry if you hear any background noise. It's my neighbors. You know, you gotta just tune that out. Just listen to my voice. You know, my neighbors are just annoying. Um, but anyway, Desmond got a double. Trevor Story hit a triple yesterday. And all in all, the Diamondbacks. The Rockies won the game. The Rockies lost the game. Actually, I'm sorry. The Rockies lost the game, 9-7 to the Cubs. But anyway, that was that was really good, right? That was a really good review of that game. But anyway, the Rockies lost 9-7. That was a good offensive game for the Rockies, but in the end, the Cubs were the better bats in that game, and that was pretty much all time and all out hitting war, and that was really what it was. But the Orioles yesterday got crushed by the Cleveland Indians. I'll tell you that. My goodness, those Orioles are not starting off that great. Um, Brantley hit a double. Edwin Encarnacion hit a double. Yonder Alonso hit a double. Yan Gomes hit a double. You got a Jose Ramirez. He had two home runs yesterday. Rajay Davis. And you got Corey Kluber. You know, he 7 innings yesterday. Four strikeouts. He did let up two home runs, but I mean, that was a pretty good game for him. Well, not that bad. Two home runs allowed, but he got four strikeouts, 7 innings pitched, and three earned. He let up all the runs yesterday. But pretty much Miller was just shut down yesterday. He came in 1 inning, Andrew Miller, and just shut him down. You know, same with Cody Allen, just the same thing. You know, it's just they just shut him out. You know, they just shut him down. That bullpen is amazing. Andrew Miller, Cody Allen, you got everything you need there. You know, for Baltimore yesterday, the stats were this: Adam Jones with a double yesterday. Manny Machado with a home run. His eighth of this. He had two yesterday. Eight home runs this season for Manny Machado. Machado with two RBIs, obviously with the two home runs. But Chris Davis with another RBI as well. There was an error for the Luis Sardinas, who had his second error of the season. That wasn't that great. Cashner pitched yesterday for the Orioles. 7 strikeouts in 6 innings. Only let up a home run. His ERA is 3.60 this season, which is not that great, but you want to keep it at about a 2. You want to keep it 2 point something. You want to keep it at that. But for a pitcher like Cashner, I mean, you don't really expect him to keep it like that. He's getting older. You don't really expect him to keep, his ERA down. He got the loss yesterday too. He's 1-3, and all in all, Orioles lose 7-3. The Cleveland Indians, and the Orioles are now 6-16. The Indians are 11-8 on this young MLB season. Extra innings yesterday for the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Philadelphia Phillies. Nick Pivetta hit a double yesterday. Andrew Knapp hit a triple. And Aaron Altera hit a triple as well. Josh Bell for the Pirates hit a triple as well. Elias Diaz hit a home run, his second of the season. And Jody Mercer got his 7th double this season last year as well. Yesterday's game. Marte stole another base. He's got 7 this year. But I mean, here's the thing with Marte. I can't really give him much credit because he took steroids. You know, he's a cheater. In my mind, you're a cheater when you take steroids. You're a cheater. And I can't give him too much credit for that. You know, I can't give him credit for his stolen bases because you never know. You know, he was stealing bases for years, and you never know what he was on. You know, you don't know if he was on any steroids or anything. You know, he's very. I'm very, I don't really want to give him too much credit because he doesn't really shock me that he took steroids either because, I mean, I could tell he was the type of player that would take steroids because he was hiding it. He was. And you never expect, like, a pirate to do steroids, like, because pirates are, they're not really, Pittsburgh Pirates are not really, prone to that. They're not really a prone team to steroid players, like, people that do steroids in baseball, they're not really prone to that. Like, the Yankees are prone to that. And then, there's certain teams that are actually prone to that, but, that's not really, I think Marte just was really bad for doing that. But anyway, Nick Pivetta got the start yesterday. Got a no decision. Well, he didn't get a no decision. Well, Rios got the win for the Phillies yesterday because he came out of the bullpen. But Pivetta, 7 strikeouts in 6.1 innings, allowing only 1 home run, 5 hits, and a 2.57 ERA now. So Nick Pivetta, who I thought wasn't going to be a great pitcher, he's got 28 innings this year. He's 1-0. 28 strikeouts, 4 walks, and a 2.57 ERA. He's not that bad for a pitcher. I would have thought that he would be like terrible, because he's young, and I thought he would be a bad pitcher, but he wasn't that bad. He's not that bad anymore. He even got an RBI yesterday. Like that. I mean, he could hit as well. If he got it, he got an RBI. And this guy Scott Kingery. I don't know what you guys think of him, but I think he's pretty good. I think he's gonna be good, and I think the Phillies are gonna be great again. Once they got Arrieta, I feel like the Phillies are in a new kind of era with their team. I feel like they think that they just need to do something now. They need to be back in it. Last time we saw them in a World Series was 2009, which they lost to the Yankees. But I mean, it was 2009 the last time we saw them in the World Series. But I don't know the last time I saw them in the playoffs. That could have been in the last time, though. It could have been. I don't know, but they did beat the Rays in the World Series in 2008. Then they were repeated back to the World Series 2009, losing to the Yankees, which they were going to lose to the Yankees no matter what. I mean, that team was amazing. Um, Nationals take on the San Francisco Giants today. Um, Gio Gonzalez will start the game tonight against Chris Stratton. Um, pitch First pitch at 10:15 Eastern Time, 7:15 Pacific, and I think this is a good game because these two teams have pretty much the same record. I mean, Nationals being played one more game than the Giants, but the Giants have a 9-12 record and the Nationals have a 10-12 record. So they pretty much are equal right now, and I feel like these two teams need to play each other. I mean, the Washington Nationals played the Dodgers yesterday, um, which I watched a little bit of that game, but I know they lost because the Nationals just weren't when it got later in the game they didn't do that well. And, and with these West Coast series, like for East Coast teams, it's it's hard. With the time difference. What time you have to be at the game. It's hard. It's hard for these guys. You're practicing, and it could be, you know, 10 o'clock at night here, like in Eastern time, and then it could be like uh seven o'clock. Yeah, but I mean like that kind of time difference. It does take a lot out of you. I've done it before. I've been to California. It's just not. I don't like the time difference, but I mean I understand it because I mean it has to happen. It's part of the earth. The sun sets at different times, which I that's you can't stop that. That's the world. That's how this world was made. Um, Players of the game, obviously. Um, on Michael Taylor, I mean, he racked up 3 hits, got a home run in 3 at bats. He was good. I mean, Michael Taylor is putting up a show now, and also player of the game for the Dodgers, Alex Wood, 6.66 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts, 2 earned runs, but only 1 walk. He allowed 6 hits though. I mean, Alex Wood, you don't expect him to do as great as he used to. I mean, he was good last year. I remember how good he was in the World Series last year. Um, but the RBIs were Corey Seager, Yasmani Grandal, who got 2 yesterday, and Cody Bellinger. Alex Wood, pretty much a great game yesterday. Um, Fields got the win. Got the win though because of Alex Wood had to be pulled out of the game, so Fields got the win. Kenley Jansen got the save, third of the year, and Nationals lose to the Dodgers 3-4. I already said the Nationals record before, 10-12, and the Dodgers are 10-10. And the reason a lot of these teams haven't played that many games is because the season started a lot earlier this year, which that's another thing that is just not great because a lot of these places like Detroit or like Minnesota, they're gonna have winter weather at this time of year. It's not like it's gonna be cold. It's cold. It's not really like warm and it's snowing. It could snow. At some of these games, it's snowing. No matter what, it's gonna snow. And some of these games are gonna get snowed out. And you might not really hear that term much in baseball, snowed out. But I mean, they do. They get snowed out. I mean, a lot of these games they do get snowed out. Let's get into some stats leaders now. Um, Actually, let's get into some rumors before I go. I'm gonna go in a second. Red Sox have traded Ronese Elias to the Mariners. I mean, he was already on the Mariners, so I mean, if I'm not wrong, I really do think he was on the Mariners. He was already on the Mariners. Yep, he was. So he's going back to the Mariners. Um, Red Sox have traded him, and I don't know what they're getting for him. I don't think they're gonna get much for him because he's not that great of a pitcher now. But a lot of minor league transactions, but not too many trades. I mean, it's very early in the season, so I wouldn't expect too many trades early on like this. But anyway, that was just one trade to talk about. Elliott gets traded away, and that's about it, guys. I will see you in the next